This is very Native American actor, Elder Nathan Phillips, and you're watching AntiNews. Prepare yourself to learn, laugh, and get offended all at the same time. Have fun and be bad. Sincerely, very Native American man, Nathan Phillips.
What's up? Welcome to the AntiNews. Welcome to the end of the world. You're watching the AntiNews, the place where you find out what's supposedly happening during the apocalypse. If you're tired of tuning into the manipulation stations like CNN, NBC, Fox News, so on and so forth, this is the place where you come if you don't get offended by poking fun at the world. We just watch it burn. We watch the world burn, and we laugh about it together, because that's really all you can do. I'm here, my name is Dan Smots, and I'm here with Craig, of course, who's holding his beautiful Jesus bust that he's finally refound. Craig, how are you doing, and where are you planning on sticking that Jesus?
I haven't decided a spot. I thought I would just sit here and hold it in my hand.
I think that you should prop it up on something so it just sits like right in the corner of your screen, like bigger than your face, just down at the bottom.
Just like right here.
That's perfect. You just got to keep peeking out behind Jesus. Anyway,
like, there's no convenient spot for Jesus.
that's isn't that what Americans all feel? There's no convenient spot for Jesus in my life, but no, this is the place where we read the things. We let you know about what's happening, and we give them their due criticisms and joking, and we offend people, mostly that one, but we also drink the drinks and smoke the smokes, as you know. So, Craig, we'll start with that. What are you drinking? What are you smoking?
Oh, I am drinking a Voodoo Ranger IPA in this fancy chalice.
Good choice. Good choice.
Yeah. And then currently I'm working on, it's from Distinctive, which is the same brand I had last week, but this is called Tesla. And it is pink lemonade flavored. It's actually pretty tasty. I was kind of surprised.
I'm not a fan of the lemons or the lemonade flavors. It's just too much for me. But
this one's not over the top. It's not like you're huffing cleaner or anything like that.
Yeah.
So
they all taste like that to me. But I am drinking currently just a little bit of the Fireball. I got this for my birthday last week. What do you think?
Are you one of those people that?
That's how far I've gotten through it. Yep.
Are you one of the people that consider Fireball to actually be whiskey? When somebody says, I like whiskey, you're like, I like whiskey too, I drink Fireball.
No, not at all.
Okay.
I do like whiskey, but Fireball I can just drink pretty, I can drink whiskey straight, but I can very comfortably just chug Fireball straight.
Comfortably until the next day when you have a freaking hangover from hell.
Yeah, hangover and fire shits. But I am also, I have on deck an anti-hero IPA, so that'll be cracked open here in a moment. I am currently vaping our typical go-to. I'm running low on it, but it's the Snow My Gush Blues, and I've got some new things coming in the mail, and I've also got on deck the Berry Crunchy from our fine folks at Fug and Vapor as well.
I just polished off my bottle of Blues.
Nice.
Snow My Gush Blues.
Yeah,
and I still do have somewhere.
Fast.
I know, it's so delicious. I still have part of a bottle of the tropical Snow My Gush stuff, and it's pretty good too. Not as good, but it's good.
Yeah, I don't even remember what I ordered offhand. They had 2 flavors that were on sale, and so I went ahead and decided to give them a try. I'll look it up real quick. But I know that we have a couple callers this week. We actually had one new caller who, on what seems to be a drunken night, decided to call in 9 times on Monday night.
Holy hell.
And each one, apparently, Skype cuts you off after 2 minutes because he filled up those 2 minutes and then complained about it each time into the next one. I'm not going to play every single every single
Thank you.
message in here. I just picked the best one. However, sorry, I'm looking for my order, trying to see what I got. I don't remember. I can't find it. Who cares? Whatever. But some good stuff that I'll probably report on next week if it comes in. But yeah, I chose this guy's his best one. He is a new caller. He did give his name and his location, so he is a real person. But he called in with several characters as well. And the one that I chose for tonight is going to be one of the, I assume, one of the characters. But Stefan, I don't remember his last name. I believe he says it a couple times in there, but like I said, each message is quite entertaining. So we'll probably have to get into that in the after party and listen to some of those. So Stefan, if you want to hear us talk about the rest of your conversation with yourself on Monday night, you are welcome to come on over to the Downers Club at patreon.com/The System Is Down. But let's see what we've got. We got Stefan and one other here. We'll listen to Stefan's first.
Yes, this is Stefan Hartmann. I'm sure you've never heard of me before. I hail from Germany.
I should say, when he's saying you've probably never heard of me before, this is message number 5. So that's kind of the joke there.
Happened to stumble across your podcast, and I figured out that you very much are within the doctrination of Hitler, and I appreciate what you do for him and what you say in respect to him, and I really very much enjoy this. I heard one episode of your podcast, and I already knew I was with the fellow skinheads, as you will. So I very much appreciate everything you guys do.
I like how he gives his name at the beginning, but continues with the accent as though he's somebody else, and also makes these terrible, Nazi propaganda statements.
And he's kind of shifting into more of a Scottish accent as he progresses.
There's a Scottish accent message as well. We'll get into that later on, but there's a little bit more to this one. Let's see what we've got.
Very much with your things. Very much with your idea and your way of things, and I very much appreciate the podcast. Let me shout out to the TSID podcast.
That's what you're doing.
The supporter of the Hitler things that I enjoy very much. Very much also the AntiNews, who are very anti-American and very much Hitler inspired, so I very much also appreciate those. And all I can say is, hi, you! And I very much appreciate what you guys do, and I really hope you keep doing them. All right, ta-ta, and have a very good evening for the both of you. For the one of you. For whoever cares to listen to this. Okay, bye very much.
Bye very much is my favorite line. So if you're new to the show, this is the place where we have dark senses of humor and make jokes about things. Jokes, and Stefan at least gets that. Hopefully you do as well. But bye very much, Stefan. Thanks for your call. And again, we will definitely be listening to the rest of those in the after party. And thanks for that. Stefan's from Ohio, I believe he said. And yeah, he's got a lot to say apparently. Definitely had a good Monday night, spending about a half hour talking to our voicemail. But one other for this main episode, and we'll see what we've got.
Very nice.
Yes, this is Lover 69 again. I think you're quite painfully aware of that. I listened to your last couple episodes, and I gotta say, I don't understand why you keep making assumptions about who I am and what I do and making fun of me. I am, my IQ is 10 times the IQ that you could ever even dream of having. I am a real person. I am very intelligent, and I have many degrees that you couldn't even pronounce the names of. So
I thought he was going to say many leather-bound books.
take that and stick it up your moon hole, okay? Go fuck yourself.
Damn.
Moon Lover 69. Regular listener. I think that's his
Still
third
not
time
buying
calling
it.
in. Not buying what?
That he's a real person. Mainly because he said I am a real person, which definitely means he's probably not a real person.
Who knows, man? Who knows? Moon Lover 69, thank you. Please go join the Downers Club and support the show. I love your work.
Yes.
I love your brains. You've got all the best brains, the biggest brains of all.
You've got such a high IQ that
Absolutely.
we are blown away by your intelligence here.
Yes, many leather-bound books that we could never possibly pronounce. But those are the calls for this week, aside from Stefan's 8 other ones that we'll get into in the after party. But we will jump into the news now because we've got a lot to talk about. So let's kick the intro here, and then we will see what's going on in the world. And if you are listening to this or watching this, you can call into the show and leave your own voicemail for next week at any given point in time. I will not answer it, so don't worry about calling and then ending up on the air or something, because that's not going to happen. It's through Skype, so if my Skype is closed, it's going to go directly to voicemail. So the number is down at the bottom of the screen if you're watching, but if you're listening, it's 309-716-3818. Call in and let us know what you think about the show. You don't have to do a character, but we fully welcome it. So more power to you, Moonlover69, and we'll see you guys in the news in a moment. Here we go.
All I ask is, if we have to give these bastards our lives, we give them hell before we do!
The tragedy of our day is the climate of fear in which we live.
Talking about the Salomon Brothers building collapsing.
I would ask the congressman to withdraw that comment and tell us that he really means that.
Half the stuff before they do what I call
I don't know what I said. I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
The Bible commands that certain people be put to death.
Thieves or possesses weapons of mass destruction. 9/11 attacks were carried out by Al-Qaeda.
Handle the truth! I remember that with that smoke! We are still here!
We have to say yes to social justice.
Let you know tomorrow. It's a big club, and you ain't in it.
All right. Let's find out what's happening in the world. There's been a lot that's gone on. Like I said at the beginning, we are... Well, maybe I didn't say it. I might not have said it in the... Well, this is the second time we tried doing this. The first time it flopped. We're pretty open about our failures around here. But we are a day late this week, and I do apologize for that. You have nobody to blame but Mother Nature herself, as... yesterday, snowpocalypse number 3, 4, or 5, I don't know, I've lost count, happened, and we lost...
Number 8.
Yeah, we lost power in our entire little town here, and I was unable to connect to the internet or to anything, and I was just kind of just sitting around waiting for my dead corpse to freeze over, because I'm really, really sick of what's been happening with the weather. Craig... Are you having the same trouble over there? You're about an hour and a half away. Is it any different?
I'm getting shit on just as much as you. We must have a much stronger infrastructure.
You don't have to get into your sex life or anything. I don't go that way, but you do you, man.
I don't know what that has to do with this at all.
You said you're getting shit on just as much as I am, so.
No. So the the biggest issue I had with the snow yesterday, other than the fact that it was like 8 inches, which is a shit ton, was so for the last 2 years that we lived in this house, the last year and a half or 2 years we've lived in this house, the neighbor, we live on a corner lot, so I don't just have one sidewalk to shovel. I have like 2.5 sidewalks to shovel because the side yard is like a lot and a half long, and then there's the front that I got to shovel. Well, for the last year and a half,
rent,
the last
right?
2
So
winters,
you legally have to do it.
Yes.
Okay.
So for the last 2 years, though, the neighbor on one side of me has a nice big giant snow blower, and he snow blows all the way to the corner. He did that the first year, so all I had to do is shovel the front, which is long but not as long as the side. Mm-hmm. Well, then starting this winter here, somebody moved 2 houses down, and he snow blows from his house all the way to the corner, so that just covers my entire sidewalk, which is amazing. Until yesterday, when we got 8 inches of the heaviest snow possible, neither one of them did their job. Neither one. So I had to shovel all of it. Mm-hmm. I had to actually shovel my own sidewalk.
God forbid.
And I was like, the whole time I'm like, these freaking assholes.
Yeah,
it was probably 40 pounds per shovel full.
I own my house, so I shovel what I need to shovel, and that is it.
Mr. Big Shot.
Yep. I also live in a more affordable area in the world, but
that might be true.
So lots going on in the world this week. I don't really know where to start because I have a lot of things that I want to talk about. So we'll just jump into the most pressing and important thing, and it's got to be the new Aladdin trailer for the live-action Aladdin remake. Have you seen this thing?
Yes, it's disgusting.
Holy shirt balls. You watched the one that came out that has Will Smith as the genie, right?
At the very end, yeah. Yeah,
right.
And I thought of this, and then somebody, I'm sure you're going to get into his blueness.
Yeah, I've got the clip pulled up here. We can actually play it. There's 2 things that I really want to comment on.
Okay, go ahead and do that. Then I'll comment.
Okay, let me get to his blueness first. We'll start with that. I think that's not the most pressing issue in this, but here's that. 1 second. Switch over screens here. And come on.
I really don't know who I am. Genie, wishes, land, none of that ringing a bell.
Ah, man. That's just a nightmare. So we'll start with that. We'll talk about that first. What were your thoughts on Will Smith as Genie?
So my very first impression was, and then somebody posted a meme about it, which is even more funny, was he looked like what?
Arrested Development. Tobias Funke.
Why do you gotta ruin everything? Yes, he reminded me of Tobias dressed up trying out for the Blue Man Group on Arrested Development.
Yeah, I've heard that comparison a lot.
So clearly just painted blue.
Yeah, well, he's not even painted blue. It's like really bad CGI. But
he looks painted blue.
Sure, yeah, but it doesn't even look like it looks like they stuck Will Smith's face on like a bloated, balloony CGI character, and it's really awkward or really uncomfortable to look at. There's
the whole thing's uncomfortable. Terrible CGI from what I saw.
Right. Yeah, I felt like the entire trailer, it looks like a porn parody of Aladdin. I get that they're going for kind of a Bollywood feel, but that doesn't really translate that well in American culture film adaptation, and it doesn't feel magical at all. It feels like, at the very best, it feels like a fan film, remake.
Even from the beginning when it shows the flyover of the desert, it just was so fake and cartoony, bad cartoony looking.
Yeah.
It's like I probably could have done that on a freaking computer, and I don't even know how to CGI.
Right. Now, aside from the obvious issue with Will Smith, well, before I go to that, actually, I gotta say, Aladdin was one of my favorite movies as a kid, and so I don't know, like, from the beginning, I've thought, this could be great, but there's a really great chance that it's gonna suck really hard, because I don't see how they could do this and it not feel weird. Like, Robin Williams' character as Genie, you can't, like, it's not just a hard task to duplicate that without him. It's an impossible task.
Yeah, and they tried.
Yeah.
I got an echo.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, everyone.
Yeah, they tried. What was it? The second one, The Return of Jafar.
Yeah,
the
second one, and
Robin Williams refused
the series on
series.
TV.
Yeah, and then they brought him back for the third one, which was amazing because Robin Williams was in it.
Right.
You can't do Aladdin, the Genie, without Robin Williams.
Well, you can't change the character so drastically. Like, they could have brought in, it would have still sucked, but I think the best thing that they could have done is brought in, like, a Robin Williams impersonator to do the Genie. Like, somebody who's not even necessarily an actor. Just make it as close as you can get. Because this is, like, it's not even Will Smith doing a character. It's Will Smith doing Will Smith in a blue marshmallow CGI body. It's really awkward.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not saying that I have a better option, a better solution, because it's impossible. He's dead. I'm saying that this probably shouldn't have happened. Nothing should have happened. Probably the closest thing, or the best you're going to do is Will Smith, but it's still, especially if the CGI looks wrong, it's going to be bad.
Can I point out the obvious that you're all too afraid to point out?
What?
I mean, is there a world you want to live in where you have to watch Aladdin where Jasmine's not wearing that belly shirt? I mean, really? I joke mostly.
No, you're absolutely right. That didn't even occur to me, actually. It did occur to me, like, seeing characters like Mowgli or, like Baloo, and just those things translated into real life, or even Beauty and the Beast, Cinderella, that type of thing. It's like, I don't really care, but for some reason, the Aladdin character and the Jasmine character, it doesn't really work for me, because humans...
Because they're not white enough?
No. But, no, something about this whole thing does not work for me, and I knew that it wouldn't from the start. When they put out the, like, teaser trailer, they just showed like the cave, and then they had the cave talking and had the music. That kind of did something for me. I was like, oh, they might be able to do something with this, but this does not work. My main issue with it, though, possibly even more than the Genie, is frickin' Jafar. Like,
I didn't even catch Jafar on the preview.
Okay, he's the guy who's talking to Aladdin at the beginning, and he looks like a frickin' Hollister model, and he's got a clearly fake parrot on his shoulder, and this is what he sounds like. Let me play this. Oh, come on. Hold up. Okay, here we go.
Bring me the lamp.
Bring me the lamp. It goes on.
How is that Arabian?
Aladdin.
Your life begins now, Aladdin. Like, what are you, a frickin' gnome? Like, what is that voice? Are you a gnome, or like,
how is that
some really, I don't know.
I'm looking up Aladdin on IMDb so I can see who the actor is that plays him, Jafar, because the picture I saw, if it's the right one, is it like a young guy?
Yeah.
Like really young guy?
Yeah, it does not look like
work?
Jafar. He doesn't look the part. He definitely doesn't sound the part. It's like he's going for a very asexual young dude with a clearly fake parrot on his shoulder.
Have you seen any of the series? What's it called? Once Upon a Time.
Once Upon a Time. I have watched very little of it. I've walked through the house while my wife is watching it, but no.
He kind of reminds me of the Mad Hatter on that. It just doesn't work either way.
Look up the clip. I sent you all the clips that I'm going to be referencing tonight. But I sent you the video. Mute if you're going to play it. But watch the clip. The first shot you see of Jafar, he's like a young dude. He's got clearly a fake parrot, very stiff, statuesque parrot on his shoulder. And the staff, like, it looks like a very cheaply made porn parody of Aladdin. It is absolutely absurd. And the fact that people are so up in arms about the genie, but nobody's talking about this is just ridiculous.
How is the Sultan supposed to utter the lines when he asked for Jasmine's hand in marriage and is like hypnotizing him? How is he going to say, "But you're so old"?
Right.
How is he going to do that?
I have no idea. He's like this. He looks like he's almost the same age as Aladdin. He's pretty shaded and shadowy. It's hard to really make out some of his features, but it does not feel like the background behind him doesn't look real. The staff looks like it's plastic. The parrot is clearly less realistic than the genie, and it's just mind-blowing how bad this is looking. And this movie comes out in like 3 months. It comes out in May, I believe. And this wasn't like leaked footage. This was what Disney hand chose to be like their best foot forward for the first representation of this film, and that's what they came up with.
Well, yeah, usually from my experience with like really good trailers, and then you go see the movie, the best part of the movie is what is in the really good trailer. So if that's the case here, and this is the best part of the movie,
especially with all the
really bad,
right? With all the speculation that's been around it, like everybody's saying, "Oh, well, Will Smith's not going to be a good genie." Then they showed a picture of him on Entertainment Weekly, and he's not blue. And then they're like, "Oh, he's going to be blue. It's fine." And then they show him blue, and it looks even worse than when he wasn't blue. And it's like,
can we go back to not blue?
Right? Just give us Will Smith just walking around saying he's a genie. I don't care. Just cancel the film altogether.
Do you know who they should have had do the genie? Sinbad, for sure.
Or Shaq.
No, definitely Sinbad, just to spark all this
Screw up the Mandela effect stuff.
Right.
Yeah, Sinbad was the genie. He was the genie in Aladdin today. But I
see
this and Mulan. I'm concerned about Mulan. I think they'll have less of a hard time
with Mulan.
Yeah, I think they'll have less of a hard time pulling Mulan off, but because Genie is such a character, and even the Genie character, it wasn't just Robin Williams. Like, it was a character. It didn't feel like it was just Robin Williams. I mean, there's the animation aspect to it, so that changes it a little bit, but there's almost the same animation aspect to this. It looks almost as real as the cartoon did, but it's not even, it doesn't even, from the 3 seconds that we've seen, it doesn't even feel like Will Smith doing a Genie character. It feels like Will Smith doing Will Smith in blue CGI that is so uncomfortable to look at, but I think that's enough on this topic. It blew my mind that happened. And it's only going to get worse before it gets better, I think. And yeah, we've got Lion King coming out this year. We've got Dumbo coming out this year, which is being done by Tim Burton. I did definitely, when I heard that they were making a Dumbo movie, I was like, that is the stupidest idea you could possibly come up with.
Dumbo is like literally the one Disney movie that nobody wants to see anymore.
Right. Yeah, why would you make a Dumbo live action movie? But seeing Aladdin, I'm like, well, okay, let's go see Dumbo because Tim Burton's
How
doing
much
it.
worse can it get?
I've seen the trailer for Dumbo. It looks way better. It looks whatever, but it looks way better than Aladdin.
Come out?
It's going to. It's coming out this year.
Okay, I remember hearing about it, but I haven't heard a lot about it, so I didn't know if it came out and we just missed it or what.
No, it's being done by what's his face, who did Jungle Book also, so he'll do a good job. He's already got the idea down. Like, he made the Jungle Book, which is mostly animal characters made live action. So he's basically just redoing what he's done with the Lion King characters. He doesn't have to make a genie look realistic alongside people who have to look like, you know, I don't know.
I thought The Jungle Book was really good, all except for the snake. I wasn't really convinced by the snake.
Scarlett Johansson?
Maybe that was why.
She did the voice, which was a little bit of a strange choice to me. Also, a weird thing about that one was Christopher Walken singing the monkey song.
I don't know if I realized that was Christopher Walken. That's
once you realize it, it really pulls you out of the moment.
That might be odd.
Go back and rewatch that scene. It gets really weird.
Yeah. So Christopher Walken singing anything is really weird, let alone the monkey song.
All I could think was more Keppel. What do you got? I've got quite a bit to talk about tonight, but
I've got quite a bit too. But I've got some crazy ones that are more probably anti-news-esque, so we'll keep, or not anti-news, after party.
Okay, if they're not like big mainstream news, I've got a lot of big mainstream news ones that we can talk about.
I do too.
Okay, what do you got?
The State of the Union address finally happened. I don't know if you knew that, and I've heard rumors that it was really, really good. I haven't heard it myself, but I heard people say that it was really good.
I've heard people bragging about not listening to it, which is stupid. Oh, you're really proud of your ignorance. I haven't listened to it either, but I plan to, actually, in the very near future, and I'm not proud of the fact that I haven't.
Right. Yeah, you can't really stake too much claim on it if you refuse to listen to it. You can't, deny anything. You can't make any comments about it because you didn't watch it.
And you can't claim to be informed, just like we don't.
Exactly. But one person is very uninformed about the whole speech. It is Donald Trump's nephew, who he invited, 6th grade nephew from Delaware.
A new character to the show.
Fell asleep during the president's speech. And this
How old
news
is this nephew?
On ABC News. 6th grade. That's what I said. He's a 6th grader at the State of the Union. Who cares? I mean, really, who cares? He's a 6th grader.
A kid that we've never heard of that's related to the president, and his family, whose family to Donald Trump wanted to be there, fell asleep. And that is news because that's what we came up with to stick on Donald Trump. Your 6th grade nephew couldn't even stay awake. Who gives a shit?
It says Trump's namesake sleeps through president's big speech. Who gives a flying fuck?
If Barron fell asleep, I wouldn't care.
Who?
If Barron Trump fell asleep, I wouldn't care.
Right.
He's a
Melania
kid.
Fell
Leave the
asleep,
kid alone.
I wouldn't care.
Right. But we're digging so deep that we have to find distant relatives that happen to be there who nodded off during the speech. Who cares?
Well, he was invited specifically because he was a Trump and he was bullied, apparently, according to this. It says President Donald Trump had invited Joshua Trump, that sounds fake, as his State of the Union guest because the White House said the 6th grader from Wilmington, Delaware, had been bullied because of his last name. Dressed in formal white shirt and
so we're going to bully him on the news for it.
Right.
Way to stick it to him.
Dressed in a formal white shirt and a loosened tie. What a freaking punk.
Good God. What is the world?
He had a prime seat in the House gallery right there in the same row as First Lady Melania Trump, who has made it her cause to stop such bullying. He'd made national headlines because it isn't every day that an 11-year-old is the president's special guest at such an auspicious occasion. He made national headlines. Yeah, because you're reporting on him.
He made the headline that I just wrote.
The young Trump, it's a funny picture because the kid is practically drooling. But it says the young Trump was making headlines again the day after too, just as the older Trump was. A photo getting prominent play on TV and newspapers and on websites on Wednesday shows him amid all the applause and the historic speech making, head back and sound asleep. And that is literally the entire... No, it's not. Is that the entire story? Yep, that's the entire story. Do you want me to share it?
It's a pretty
Can you
funny
see
picture.
it?
I'm looking it up right now. Yeah.
All right, good.
You can share it so the people can see it, but I'm looking at it here.
All right. I mean, this kid is slobbering on himself.
Well, there's a weird shadow on him that makes him look much more moist than he is.
Oh, here's... Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, he's not literally drooling, but the kid is assed out completely.
Yeah.
So, there's
cares?
That is the national headline.
And who reported on that again?
That's ABC News.
Thank you, ABC News. This makes headlines that we wrote insane. That national coverage is being put on this. Yes, it is insane. Stop. Stop being an asshole.
Stop putting national coverage on this.
Exactly.
Who cares?
Good Lord.
It's funny that we don't report on the stories. We report on the reporters who report on the stories.
We're like the bottom feeders. We're like the fish underneath the tank we're the roaches underneath the tank that feed on whatever the bottom feeders in the tank drop.
Yeah, it's like this just in. This national headline made this stupid story.
Yeah. So there's that. That's really exciting. Speaking of really, really stupid, did you hear about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's Green New Deal details finally coming out?
I didn't hear about the details, but they must be good. But I do.
Details?
Well, I mean, they gotta be as. So I do have a couple headlines about that. So that was the next thing I was going to get into as well. So perfect.
All right. I could give you my input because I've read through some of it and know some of the details, but I would rather read the Daily Wire's report on this.
Definitely
so you know
get
it's
it
legit.
From the source.
I want to get it from Daily Wire because I'm sure that on this topic, I don't agree with Ben Shapiro on all topics, but this topic, I'm sure that they will have the best insight on the Green New Deal and the giant proposal. So the headline is, AOC's Green New Deal proposal is one of the stupidest documents ever written.
Wait. Can we all just be thankful and glad that they finally shortened her freaking name down?
Yeah, I've heard a theory. Somebody posted in the forum, which you can join by going to tsidpod.com/forum. Somebody posted in the forum something about her, and they said, I'm starting to think that AOC is she's like a stinger cell placed into power by Trump. Like Trump put her there to just completely destroy Democrats because she makes absolutely no sense in 90% of what she says. Right. And she sounds like Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi has some bad ideas. Hillary Clinton has some bad ideas, but none of them sound retarded. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez sounds freaking retarded when almost every time she opens her mouth. It's starting to feel like a setup here, like we're all being punked by Donald Trump.
But I was going to say, but is it any different when Donald Trump opens his mouth, though, half the time?
She's making him sound really smart, though. That's the problem here. Like, that is just furthering the theory.
Can we at least point out her shrill, horrible voice that even makes Hillary Clinton sound like a normal person?
I don't know if I'd go that far, but let's read this article. Okay, so it starts out on Thursday. Rep. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez released a 6-page proposal for her much ballyhooed? Don't let me down, Ben Shapiro. Come on. Green New Deal. Before so much as reading it, presumably Senator Kamala Harris, who happens to be a 2020 presidential frontrunner, endorsed it. Before reading it, she endorsed it. Kamala Harris said in a tweet on February 7th, I'm proud to co-sponsor AOC and Ed Markey's Green New Deal. We must aggressively tackle climate change, which poses an existential threat to our nation. She should have read it. Whoever wrote this proposal is, to put kindly, dense, idiotic. To put it kindly, dense, idiotic. Moronic. Even Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi found herself unable to pretend to take it seriously. She said she hadn't seen it yet, but, quote, It's enthusiastic, and I appreciate the enthusiasm.
It's not what you want to hear.
No, it is not. It's if a child made a
plotter efforts.
It's like if a child scribbled something on a piece of paper, and you're like, "Good job, you tried really hard." This not coincidentally is precisely what I say. What I say when I find out that my okay, he's making the same point, that my 2-year-old son has used his magic markers on his bedroom wall. When Nancy Pelosi has to pat you on the head to tell you that your picture of a doggy, which, for the record, looks like a blob with 3 legs and a spaghetti sauce stain, is just great, honey. You're in trouble.
That's fantastic.
Yep.
He didn't hold back the punches at all.
No, not at all. They never do. She added that the Green New Deal, quote, will be one of several or many, or maybe many suggestions that we receive. The Green Dream, or whatever they call it, nobody knows what it is, but they're for it, right? Is that... Okay, that's a quote from Nancy Pelosi.
Really? I thought that was Ben Shapiro being an asshole.
No, she added that the Green New Deal, quote, will be one of several or maybe many suggestions that we receive. The Green Dream, or whatever they call it, nobody knows what it is, but they're for it, right? That's the end of the quote. Wow.
Wow, that's some hardcore support there.
I
do know that there was, like, Bernie Sanders and a bunch of other Democrats, when she first announced it, were standing beside her, like, firmly on this whole deal.
Probably having no clue what she was going to say. They're just like, yes, you are on our team. You want communism for all. The 1%. So you're right, because you're young and you look better than I do. Oh, hold on. Backpedaling here. All right. For her part, AOC seems to know that she can't declare war on Pelosi without the KG veteran nuking her. Quote, I don't consider that to be a dismissive term. I think it's a great term. That, end quote, that farcical 29-year-old former bartender turned congresswoman eagerly said, to which the New York Post columnist Carol Markowitz correctly tweeted, oh, honey. Okay, who cares? How bad
that was the tweet? That was the tweet. Just,
yep.
Oh, honey. And we felt the need to announce
Well,
that.
It doesn't have the full tweet. It just has a quote. But how bad is the Green New Deal paper? Putting aside the fact that, as written, it would receive a C+ in any high school English class, it essentially articulates a magical world in which the skies rain chocolate, the world is powered by unicorn farts, and AOC dances through the gumdrop meadows to listomania. The proposal calls for the United States to be free of carbon emissions within 10 years without the use of nuclear power. It calls for every building in the United States to be replaced or retrofitted in green fashion. Every building in the United States. It calls for universal health care, free college education, the replacement of airplanes with high-speed trains, charging stations, quote, everywhere. This is the sort of exactness the proposal contains. The replacement of every combustion engine vehicle, government-provided jobs, family and medical leave, vacations, retirement security, and the abolition of farting cows. It also calls for total economic security for anyone. This is an actual thing that it says. The economic security for anyone unable or unwilling to work. We did it, you guys.
I applaud that.
We found it.
I mean, she's the ace up our sleeve.
She is the grade school, 5th grade school president who promises.
Right.
I mean, we've said this about socialists like Bernie Sanders.
Ice cream for everyone.
We've said this about like Bernie Sanders and people who say, "Oh, we need free healthcare. We need free college educations and everything, all that stuff, raise the minimum wage.
She said
we'll
free
find the
everything.
money. She
Literally
literally
said free everything.
Yes, she not only said free everything, she said, let's tear everything down, remake it, and we'll do it for free. What are you even talking about? And also, we need to redo all of this. Everything that you see, look out your window. Whatever you see out there, we have to remake it. Not only
Burn it down.
Not only that, but if you don't feel like working, you also don't have to. So somebody's going to build it. I don't know who it is because nobody has to work anymore. What are you?
I mean,
what is happening?
If you're supporting all the people not willing to work, nobody's going to be willing to work.
I am done.
That's just how life works.
I am done working entirely. Everybody is done working entirely. What? I mean, we've done a tripartisan triggering episode where Bobby Volm came on and defended like socialism and Marxism and that type of thing. He made some good arguments, but his arguments included people working. Like, you can't just of course the argument is if everybody's getting paid, like if everybody's salary is chosen, everybody's getting paid the same wages, and the CEO doesn't get paid any more than the worker or gets paid less than the worker, then we're not going to have any CEOs. Of course. But this takes it to a whole new low and a whole new level where you can say the CEO doesn't have to work, the employee doesn't have to work, nobody has to work. Free money for everyone. Everybody go sit around, play Xbox. You'll get paid for it because Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is going to take care of it. The 29, 30-year-old, 30-something girl who went to college for, I don't know, economics. She went for economics, but she was a bartender, and we were like, you look okay. What?
I mean, did she pass, though? Because
I believe so.
One economics course, and taking one economics course, I suddenly realized how flawed socialism completely is.
You don't have to take a frickin' economics course to know that you can't just give away everything for free and nobody has to work anymore.
Right.
That's, like I said, Nancy Pelosi, Hillary Clinton, bad ideas, not retarded. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. We've been saying it. I don't want to be too terribly mean, but it's hard. It's hard to not think that she's planted there and just made to look retarded by Donald Trump.
Right. So here's the point that we're missing about this whole Green Deal. And when you hear the Green New Deal, you definitely think something in regards to like energy sources, like clean energy and cleaning the like environmental stuff and shit like that. So this point here that we're missing is her whole Green New Deal completely kills the forests and the trees.
No, it doesn't.
This is on being... Yes, because she's asking us to rebuild every single building in the United States.
No. You're missing the point here. Just the same way that we can pull things out of thin air to, make healthcare and college free, we don't have to take anything from the trees. She has scientific technology to recreate all these things without killing a single tree or any deforestation at all whatsoever.
Right. So
magic.
This is actually
magic is what the Green New Deal is.
This article on being libertarian, so you'd probably like this news source, is the Green New Deal kills the forest for the trees. It says, by now I'm sure you've heard the Green New Deal with its promises to fix everything from climate change and unemployment to racial and financial injustice. Just about every publication on the planet seems to be talking about it. Unfortunately, beside all the ill-gotten praise it's received, many seem to be missing the forest for the trees, even when it comes to criticizing it. The legislation claims to not only save the planet but also boost our economy simultaneously, although how it plans to do that, not even Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez knows, which is why, despite its desired outcomes, the Green New Deal doesn't just metaphorically shoot itself in the foot. It kills the forest for the trees. Setting aside the astronomical price expected to accompany this plan, estimates put it upwards of $50 trillion in the 10-year time allotted. Holy shit. and overlooking the ambiguity.
Hold on. This is coming from the same people that say that we absolutely cannot afford a wall to secure our borders. That's a couple million, billion, whatever. I don't know. I mean, it's all just pennies compared to what they're going to do for their magical plan.
Yeah. Says, overlooking the ambiguity surrounding the means to pay for it, as AOC says, it's not a cost, it's an investment. Well, there you go. There's still a massive elephant in the room that needs to be addressed before we sit back and enjoy our prosperity. Generously granting that
there's more than one. There's a whole fleet of elephants in the room.
Well, I know. This is one focus here. It'll be investment and not another boondoggle. There are still a few questions one should ask when investing their money in future projects. For starters, why has no one asked the experts whose models this proposal stems from what caused the climate predictions of the past half-century to be so inaccurate, and theirs not? If I'm a real estate investor who's been blah, 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 I'm not going to skip his stupid stuff. Oh, it goes on to say, you don't have to be an expert in political science to know the amount of ticky-tacky details added on will only to delay plans implementation. Now, I'm not making the outlandish claim that politicians might be dishonest, but in lieu of discrepancies, one could certainly see why people might think that. Did I mention this is a non-binding resolution? That's the funniest part about this, is the whole thing was a non-binding resolution. So it's like, we are signing this bill, but nobody has to follow this at all. We're just signing this.
This is a big, fat nothing in every aspect of the word. This is literally a child scribbling on a piece of paper, and she deserves the amount of respect that she got from Pelosi and everybody else. I just find it hilarious that everybody's like, okay, you're on our side, right? Yes, this Green New Deal, we support you because you're young and hip. Nobody's listening to us because our faces look like melted candles. You're young and hip. You can get out there and pitch all these great new green ideas that'll get people behind the left again. And then it comes out and they're like, we need like... It's like they literally need an adult supervisor for her to keep her from saying things that are stupid. But I find it beautiful, and it's. I'm not a straight up Trump supporter, but I'm getting pretty close at this point. Like they're just pushing me. They're pushing me. I don't have to be. I have no reason to be a Trump supporter because there is almost zero chance that Trump's not going to win in 2020 at this point. Like, the left has they're just like floundering and pushing goalposts back and back and back. Like, all the things, what do you guys want us to say? We'll say it. We'll do whatever you want. Free healthcare, free abortions, free this, free that, all the things. What do you guys want from us? Like, there is nothing off the table at this point. It's just like they're grasping at straws, saying everything's free. Who cares? Speaking of Virginia Governor Northam and abortions. Did you hear about Northam and all that fun stuff that's been going on?
Before you, this is a beautiful transition, but
and you're gonna
the last
fuck the whole thing up.
I am. The last point I want to make is
like a Democrat.
Mitch McConnell went on record, I think today, saying that he's calling for a vote to bring the Green New Deal to a vote, forcing the 2020 Democrats to go on record on the radical plan. To force them to say, so for all these people that are like backing her and being like, yeah, good job, pat on the head, forcing them to come to a yes or no answer.
Tell me that this is what you're going to say yes to. Read it. Now that you know what it is, tell me that this is what you want. Tell me that.
Like, seriously, I don't want your, like, going back and forth on it, like holding her up and saying good job and just fluffing this up. No, seriously, all I want is yes or no, and we're gonna put this on the record right now.
So we can say that you literally voted yes on free everything, free all the things.
Yes. and rebuilding everything from scratch.
I'm going to go on the record
buildings.
and say that I am 100% in support of a border wall because we can make it for free. Just because. That's it. I vote for that. Free wall. Free walls for everyone.
It'll be green. It'll be green energy.
We can rebuild
it'll probably be made out of solar panels.
We can rebuild every building in the entire country, apparently for free. So why not? Why not?
Yeah. My post on when somebody had posted about, or I think I posted about the Green New Deal the day that it was released, and I was just like, where are these freaking money trees that she keeps referring to?
Who knows?
All right, back to your smooth transition. You can do it again if you want.
Speaking of Democrats moving goalposts and
not nearly as good.
People who need to be aborted, not really. Did you hear about the Northam guy, Governor Northam?
No, not
his
at
comments?
all.
Really?
Nope.
Okay, so this guy, he's the Virginia governor. He went on the record. I've got the clip here. I'll pull it up. I'll play it. You'll be able to hear it. And we'll go from there because this clip is only the beginning of the story. It gets much more beautiful and juicy. So, 1 second here. Let me pull this up.
The infant would be delivered. The infant would be kept comfortable. The infant would be resuscitated if that's what the mother and the family desired. And then a discussion would ensue between the physicians and the mother.
Now, Senator
So, first off, what's your take on what was just said there?
Is this really going the way I think it's going?
You mean, is Donald Trump definitely winning in 2020? Because holy horse balls.
So is this guy suggesting that the infant is delivered and then we're going to discuss with the parents whether or not to, we'll just say to keep it. And I'm not talking adoption either.
We'll have a discussion.
Let's just state it for what it is. Is he saying discuss whether or not we're going to keep the thing?
Basically, he's saying if you try to have an abortion, if your baby is to term and that's obviously okay. The baby's on its way out and you're like, kill it now. Kill it before it gets into the world because then it's illegal. We're proposing that, if we can't quite kill it on the way out, if we're like shooting it with guns and stuff and it still breaks through the barrier and gets out into the world, we'll bring it back to life. We'll resuscitate it. We'll keep it alive. And then we'll just sit down with the family, have a nice, wholesome conversation about whether or not we want to keep this baby alive.
See, that negates everything, every opposition to this whole late-term abortion argument where they're like, it's not like we're saying every mother who has the choice to stab their baby in the head while it's exiting the womb. It's if the woman's life is at risk and it's posing to be a threat to her, then she does have that option.
Which is all because that's hypothetical BS, right. And there's a reason for cesarean sections. There's a reason for all these procedures to keep both the mother and child alive. That's a very, very small percentage of people that even run into that issue, but that's always thrown out there, the health of the mother. But now we're just talking about
out the window because now we're having the discussion with the mother who is perfectly healthy and fine at this point.
Right.
Do you still want to keep this baby or do you want to get rid of it?
Right.
Because that throws the
mother
whole
has a baby, throws it in a dumpster
out the window.
Mother has a baby, throws it in a dumpster. Bad. Mother has a baby, we can just watch it die together. We can all crowd around it, hold hands, sing Kumbaya, and watch the baby slowly suffocate because we don't give it to or starve. We don't give it the things that it needs. This is where we are. If you were pro-choice before, this is what we've come to. It doesn't matter. Like the goalpost is moved. Once again, it's now moved beyond the vaginal canal. It's moved to whenever. So why, if we're talking viability, I know plenty of 15-year-olds who are not viable outside the womb or outside of the care of their parents. So let's just move it up to 15. I know plenty of 29-year-olds who are so stupid that they, without their parents taking care of them, I know somebody in our family who's in his 40s who couldn't live without his mommy taking care of him, so let's just kill him. That's fine, right? Murder is fine. Who cares? Who cares? Too far? I mean, where's the line? Where is the line?
Because now the line is no longer the exiting the womb. Now the line is, oh, this is a viable. Well, like we already brought it back to life,
right.
So it's here.
We
You're
were able
here, and
to
you're
say-
doing good. So now that you're feeling all healthy and your mental capacity is back, let's make this decision together.
Right, but a woman who has a child and goes through postpartum depression a month or two later, and she's like, oh, I want to strangle this baby. She's a terrible person, right? So you're going to trust a woman who just gave birth, who just literally gave birth. She went through that trauma, and she definitely is going through some crazy emotional things. And you're going to say, hey, decide right now, do you want to keep this baby? Or should we just, see what happens as it lives on its own in the dumpster?
Let's see if if the baby can't survive on its own, was it really worth keeping anyway? I mean, without feeding or anything like that.
Here's the thing. Nothing survives without feeding it. A plant doesn't survive without feeding it.
That's what I was getting.
Oh, but it's just freaking insanity. But like I said, the story...
It's absolutely disgusting.
The story gets juicier because as disgusting as that is, of course, if you come out as Ralph Northam did and say something like that, welcome to the internet. People are going to dig into your history. People dug into his and found this picture of him in it's not a high school yearbook. It's like a yearbook for like his medical field or something. So well into adulthood where we're not sure, but his name is in there. He's either dressed in blackface or dressed in a KKK hood. We're not sure which one he is, and he's gone back and forth on which one he might be, but he's one of the two. Which do you think is worse? Blackface, like straight up blackface next to a KKK guy, or the KKK guy? Or does it really even matter?
I don't even, my brain can't even process this whole argument even at this point.
Is this reality?
Like,
is this really the world? Is this... People who think that there's no chance that there's a simulation theory, or that we're living inside of a simulation, I am borderline convinced that we are in a simulation and they have given all the controls over to somebody else. They've moved on to another civilization, another humanity, or beings of some sort. They're like, I'm bored with you guys. You can... Steve the intern take over from here on out, and he's just like poking buttons, like who gives a shit?
Steve.
Freaking
Damn, Steve does everything wrong.
Hashtag simulation intern.
I'm pretty sure you saw my post earlier today on the forum about the simulation theory.
I did. I don't remember offhand.
Said maybe we're all playing. Or maybe we're all playable characters in a cosmic video game, and the fridge is the save point, which is why we all sort of open it, look inside, and then wander off without eating anything.
Yes, I did read that about 45 minutes after doing that for probably the 5th time today. Yes. It's happened many
saved
times.
The game plenty of times.
I am well saved. But, yeah. So, yeah, the Northam thing, the racist thing is just a beautiful cherry on top of the already horrifying cake that we were dealt in his live statements on the air. And
how is this guy still being given a platform when we are concerned about? Well, he's a Democrat governor, no less, is the problem. Because anybody,
don't talk about that. Don't talk about that.
But I'm just saying, he was in blackface with the KKK guy. And for some reason, we're still giving him a pass on that when all the other shit that's happened within the last 365 days.
The Covington kids who stood there while a Native American man yelled in their face and smiled in the wrong way. People, of course, the internet had to dig up pictures of them at a basketball game where they did a blackout thing where everybody painted their whole body black as a blackout thing. That's racist. But Governor Northam... Nope.
Freaking Mary Poppins was blackface racism because the guy had soot on his face, and Mary Poppins had soot on their face, and it was making fun of black people. It's just like, how is he still a viable candidate?
Right.
Based on that alone.
He's not a candidate. He's the governor, so he's already in.
Either way.
It's like, yeah, we're digging up things like guy has soot on his face, so that's racist. But a guy who, and we talked about the Megyn Kelly thing, and I am in support of what she said, because there was a time where you could paint your face like a black person in respect for the black person. That's fine. Or you can paint your face in blackface with like accentuated features. I would give him a little bit more. I would give him a shred of benefit of the doubt if he wasn't in the picture standing next to a KKK guy dressed as a KKK member. It's clear that you were going for a racist.
It's not that he was doing this out of respect for black people, and he was taking a stand for all the black people that have been oppressed by the KKK.
He's not wearing a Michael Jordan jersey and standing next to a KKK member.
Because blackface at its best is like is poor taste humor. Blackface next to a KKK guy in a Halloween costume, that's beyond poor taste there.
Yeah.
It's just like, no, that's just blatantly racist. But he can't be racist because he's a Democrat. I mean, there's no possibility a Democrat can be a racist.
And so, like I said, he's gone back and forth on which person in the picture he even is. Like, he can't even remember who he was, of course. Surprise, surprise. He was the guy in the blackface, and he was the guy, because his name is there. So he's one of the two. He was the guy in the blackface. He was the guy in KKK. He's gone back and forth on those. And then he was like, oh, no, I was dressed up as Michael Jackson because I could do the moonwalk really well. And then at some conference, somebody was like, well, can you do the moonwalk for us now and prove that you can do the moonwalk? And he almost did it. And his wife was there. And she's like, it's not the time and place for that. She stopped him. He was like, I could probably do the moonwalk good enough to convince you that I'm not a racist. No, there's no coming back from this. I'm sorry.
So, like I said, you can't be a Democrat and be a racist because
that's reverse racism.
According to this article I'm about to get into, being a white supremacist and being conservative are one and the same. That is a quote from this article.
Speaking of stupid people, let's move on to the next thing because I don't want to hear anything that you have to say after what you just said.
Nope. So this article's headline, this is NPC Daily. The article headline is, "It's time to admit that you don't need to be white supremacist."
Well, you don't. Dave Chappelle proved that by being the blind black white supremacist in his skit.
And Kanye West proved that when he put on a MAGA hat.
Right.
So you're going to love this article, and you're going to be thoroughly pleased with everything about it.
Okay, I'm sure that I will find it problematic.
We used to think that being a white supremacist and hating minorities and people of color was a requirement in order to be conservative and vote for Trump. However, in recent time, more liberals are being faced with the rather bizarre reality that there are some non-white people who actually support Trump, such as Joy Villa, Candace Owens, Diamond Silk, and others. And one of these people is the girl that wore the Make America Great dress at one of the award ceremonies. I'm pretty sure we mentioned that a few weeks back.
We did.
It says
like a few months back, actually, but yeah.
Whatever, same thing. It says there's only one explanation for this phenomenon. There's not many multiple possibilities. There's only one explanation for this phenomenon. They are all white supremacists as well. Yep.
Nope, not going to comment.
You heard me right. Conservatives would be the first ones to challenge the notion that maybe we, the morally right liberals,
is this from
just
The Root?
don't understand. No, this is NPC Daily, probably the same people. Conservatives would be the first ones to challenge the notion that maybe we, the morally right liberals, just don't understand our opposition. they'd be wrong for thinking
Not
this.
an opinion piece at all.
No, listen, you gotta stop interrupting because you gotta hear this all in one sentence.
Read faster. I'm just gonna kick back and pour another glass of Fireball. So
all
go
right.
ahead. I'll let you talk. I'm gonna let you finish, but
all right.
God, kill me now.
All right, I'm gonna start this one again. Conservatives would be the first to challenge the notion that maybe we, the morally right liberals, don't understand our opposition. They'd be wrong for thinking this and therefore racist and bigoted. Because conservatives think that liberals don't understand the opposition, they are racist and bigoted. That is the definition of racism now, is thinking that somebody doesn't understand. Yes. Yes, we've completely changed the definition of racism now. And bigoted. Let's face it, being white supremacist and being conservative are one and the same. Therefore, as counterintuitive as it may appear, one does not necessarily need to be white in order to be a white supremacist, given the fact that there are people of color who hate themselves, as demonstrated by their conservative actions. Come on, you got to give me something here.
I told you I'm going to let you finish.
Okay, white supremacy is a state of mind, and those who align with Trump are white supremacists by default.
Okay,
regardless
just stop.
Of their
stop. I've got it, okay?
But it's not the hilarious part isn't that, like, I can see them saying that there are people of color who are white supremacists because of X, Y, and Z, because their ideology supports the fact that white, like, doesn't support black people coming to power, or doesn't support this group,
possible.
Or doesn't. No, it is specifically because they are conservative.
Yeah.
And that is one and the same. And because they hate themselves is exactly what it says.
Isn't that extremely racist to say if you're black and a conservative, or a person that's not transparently white or ginger like us and a conservative, that you hate yourself? Isn't that much more vile than us saying, hey, if you're right, you're right, no matter what color you are? I don't understand. Like, it's just, this episode is definitely going to be titled something to the effect of Trump wins the 2020 election, because another goalpost is being moved. That is all we're talking about tonight, is I don't even want to say Democrats, just like hard, crazy leftist liberals moving goalposts of acceptable thought patterns that started out making no sense, and they're just like doubling, tripling, quadrupling down on their insanity. I don't get it. I don't understand how this is even a thing.
So the final paragraph says, white supremacy is a state of mind, and those who align with Trump are white supremacists by default. I read that one. Regardless of their biological ethnicity. Just as people can identify as their preferred gender, we can spot a white supremacist the moment they open their mouth. If they're conservative, it doesn't matter if they're black.
Wait. So people can identify as their preferred gender, which means you can't look at somebody and say you're a man because you have a beard, or you're a woman because you got tits. But you can look at a person and say, you know, if you're wearing a MAGA hat, or God forbid an American flag T-shirt, then you're a white supremacist, you piece of shit.
Right.
Like, talk about assumptions. What are you talking about? Like they made the comparison. They made the comparison.
Basically, to sum it up, it says, just as people can identify it as their preferred gender, we can identify you as a white supremacist, is basically what that says, summed up. And then it goes on to say, if they're conservative, it doesn't matter if they're black or Hispanic, they are a white supremacist and hate minorities. Any efforts of theirs to try to discredit this fact are just lies and should be discarded, as we liberals are so fond of doing. I wanna I want to think this is a parody piece, but there's nowhere on here that claims this to be a parody piece.
Are you sure? This feels like complete straight up hard satire.
I looked. I mean,
this is harder to believe than most of the Onion articles or Babylon Bee and stuff like that. Those things I would have less hard time believing than this. You're muted. Hashtag firecraig.
Let me look at the about section of this. I mean, it's got to be real because they have their own section called Guns and Gun Violence, so it's got to be real. And there is the headline of NPC Daily is the latest details show how the Green New Deal will be the absolute saving grace of America. Oh man! So these are their
welcome to Idiocracy, folks.
These are their sections that you can click on. There's one. The first section is specifically Trump, politics, culture, hate crimes, guns, and violence. And that is it.
Let's all have a moment of silence for the world. Like I said, we're here to report on the end of the world. If it wasn't clear enough in the last few conversations we've had, welcome to the end. While you take a moment of silence...
Oh, wait. Okay. I just Googled NPC Daily, and the first thing that pops up is NPC Daily is a satire site, so... You gotta
hashtag firecraig. Real news is firecraig. He's bringing satire in here, trying to pass it off as real news.
I did the due diligence. I looked because unlike the Onion, you can scroll to the bottom and it will specify that it is satire, purely satire, and don't believe this shit is basically what it says. I did that. I scrolled down. I looked all over the site looking for somewhere for them to say this is satire. It did not.
Praise Jesus.
But now I Googled.
Holy hell. Okay.
I know.
All right. I think my spirits are lifted slightly, and thank you for clearing that up, and giving me a little bit of hope for humanity. I thought that the world was literally going to end tonight. I thought that a literal fireball was going to rain down from the heavens, but I've got a couple more things I want to talk about before we jump into the after party. But we got to give a shout out to everybody who supports this show with their hard-earned and much appreciated dollars, as you know. So everybody in the Downers Club, if you're watching, I actually haven't updated this in a while, so there might be a couple of people missing. I'll be sure to put that on my to-do list and throw them in there for next time. But these are the people that support the show. These are the people that contribute at patreon.com/The System Is Down. If you would like to get multiple bonus episodes of the show every single week, including the after party that we will be recording right after this, where we talk about all the more horrifying, strange things that are going on in the world, go over and support the show for as little as $5 a month. That is a cup of coffee a month. That is almost nothing. You could scrounge around on the ground and find $5 in a month, and so we'll say it's free. Excuse me. All right, let's get into this. These are the people, the list of people, as we listen to Alex Jones rant.
Hey, this is Brett Glyer from Donorcy, and you are watching AntiNews Live.
Hi, this is Ole Dammerwood from Light on Conspiracies, and you are watching AntiNews Live.
Hey, this is Brian McWilliams from Electric Liberty Land on the Lines of Liberty. You're watching Anti-News Live along with my lazy dog Hank here, who diarrheaed all over that couch. That's why that blanket's there. Enjoy!
And now it's time for that part of the show where we give a big thank you and a shout out to all the beautiful men and women who support this show with their hard-earned and much appreciated dollars. We could not do this without you. If you would like to increase the value of your life and get your name on this list, just go to patreon.com/The System Is Down and join the Downers Club.
I'm done, I'm pissed, and I'm not putting up with it anymore. You Satanists want to sacrifice the West. You want to kill the beautiful goddess that is the West. You people are enemies, and we're going to get your asses, and we know what you're up to, and we're coming for you. So I've had enough of these people. Okay, so I've been containing this for the last week. That's why I've been in here sweating, getting pissed. Because I can't handle it no more.
Hey, this is Toby from Bad Christian, and you're watching AntiNews. Hey, this is Toby from Bad Christian, and you're watching AntiNews.
Hello, everyone. I'm Lucas from the 29 Toes podcast, and you're watching the AntiNews live. Fun fact, do you know anything that you drink out of this mug tastes 50% better? You should give it a try. Enjoy the show.
All right, we are back, and everything that you drink from an AntiNews mug does taste 50% better. Everything that you hear on the AntiNews is, you gotta admit, 50% more entertaining at the very least. But I've got a couple more things that we need to talk about, and real quick, before I do, gotta remind you guys, call into the show, leave a voicemail, 309-716-3818. Go join the Downers Club at patreon.com/thesystemisdown and get all the bonus episodes of the show. Got a bunch of announcements coming up. Announcements that I've made. People there get the news. Get the actual news about the show long before any of you commoners do. So go join that and find out what's happening in the world. What's happening with the show. Sorry, I've had a lot to drink already. More like I've been doing energy drinks typically on the show lately, but this news, the stuff that's happening, it's caused me to really double down on the fireball tonight. So you're welcome, and I apologize, but I want to talk about... Craig, did
it's
you...
only going to get better.
That's right. It can only get better from here, given the stuff that we've talked about so far. But, Craig, did you hear about the spat between our two favorite shills, Joe Rogan and Alex Jones, that's going on right now?
I did not watch the video you sent or the link you sent. I forgot until just recently. So, no, okay. I didn't.
Okay, well, I've got to play a little bit of this. Joe Rogan, he had, what's his name? The Twitter guy, creator of Twitter on, and he's had some people on that have been deplatforming people like Alex Jones, and he didn't press them hard enough, and he's said some things about Alex Jones that has gotten Alex Jones riled up. Joe Rogan, quite frankly, I don't trust either one of these people. Joe Rogan has a lot better points, I think, than Alex Jones, even as a conspiracy-minded individual. Joe Rogan seems to have a much more level head. The conspiracy side of me doesn't trust either one of these people, but it's starting to feel like literal, like, WWE, WWF, like, banter back and forth, just threatening each other, especially because of Alex Jones. But I've got a clip pulled up here of Alex Jones' response to Joe Rogan, and I don't know how much of it we're going to play, but we'll switch over here and see what happens.
Struggled with bringing him back on the podcast. That's very complicated.
Joe, I'll never talk to you again. I'll never come on your show again. I'm going to destroy you. I understand it now. I'm going to get you. I'm coming for you. You understand that? Who do you think I am? What do you think I do? You're very foolish. I don't hate you, Joe. I'm revolted by you. See the difference? You revolt me. Jack Dorsey, that little oil pimp, that little front man of DARPA up there like a rat, like a spider, cleaning its pinchers. Ugh. Oh, you're MMA. You got a bald head. You're so tall. I'm so scared, Joe. I'm so scared right now. I'm so scared of your big wigs in Vegas and all the stuff you told me about 20 years ago about the mafia owning UFC and everything. I already knew that when you told me that. You think I was so impressed with that and all the rest of your weird-ass crap. So it's just at the end of the day, dude, you've been acting like a tough guy for a long time. Destroy me. Give me your power. Show me what you can do. Here I am. See how it works now? Oh, I'm so scared, Joe. Here I am, Joe.
You can't do anything because you're a devil. And you can't stand against truth. And you've chosen the wrong side, and you're going to be destroyed. No matter what happens to me, Joe, you're done.
That is, even though I've known the guy since 1998, and if I'm around him, I'd say that's my friend Alex Jones. He's a friend.
Joe, circling the black hole of hell, Joe. I can't wait to bang heads with you. They just don't understand how it works. They don't understand how the teeth bite. They don't understand the shape of doom. They just don't understand it. And I detonate, thanks to God's blessing, not the defeat of Hillary, but the next great mission before I'm done. I will detonate the war that leads to your destruction. And Joe is only a baby in this, but he's an example of these fools who must first be destroyed before they're cleansed. Because we've taken down Hillary, and we've taken down the globalist, and we're going to take down Soros, and we're going to take you down. Once we stop fearing the devil and start taking the devil on is the day we start living. And then you see the horizon. You realize God's in control. And the bluff's got to be called. The enemy's got to be engaged. Bone's got to meet bone. Sword's got to meet shield. The axe has got to come down on that skull. And in the end, we'll see heaven. I know the wind is filling my sails, and I'm on a journey where I'm supposed to go. I'm on the path of my ancestors, a path beyond the stars, a path to Valhalla. And that's why I do this, because to not do it is to lose the soul. And you've all chosen your lot with the devil, and I've chosen that I must take you on. It'll be this contest that defines us. It'll be these wars, these fights, that make us who we are.
But I don't hate the guy. He's, he'll scream and yell and call me a demon.
Big boy world. The big boy world. If you're a whale, you're fighting a big squid 10 times bigger than you. No whale, no sperm.
What the fuck are you talking about? Seriously.
Smell it, warrior. Smell it and swell with intensity as we prepare.
It's exactly what it is.
To you, Hulk Hogan.
That's exactly what this is. Like,
that's what it reminds me of. Into a frustration, like the normals that have traveled before us.
All right.
There were great warriors, Hulk Hogan. There were.
If Alex Jones believes the conspiracy things that he says, and he thinks that there's people out there that try to make conspiracy-minded people look stupid, what are you doing? What are you doing? I'm giving you full benefit of the doubt. I definitely think that that's not the case, and I don't trust this guy as far as I can throw him, and I could not even lift his gigantic super male vitality body, but him and Joe Rogan both, like, he's making Joe Rogan look super, super normal. Like, Joe Rogan's like, dude, what are you talking about? And it is literally WWE. It's mind-boggling.
All I could think of was the Ultimate Warrior coked out of his brain talking about Hulk Hogan. That is all I could think of listening to that.
I mean, that's not even the whole thing. It's like 15, 20-minute rant of him being like, you're gonna pay for what you've done. I'm gonna bring down the gods from Valhalla, and they're gonna rain down a shitstorm upon. Like, what are you talking about?
Saying? What is he? Yeah, what are you saying? Which is funny because not only is that insanity, but he also like completely contradicts himself constantly because he's always talking about like God and conservatism and like being religious and stuff. And now he's talking about bringing down the gods of Valhalla. It's just like, what?
Come
what
on,
are
Bill
you
Hicks.
talking about?
Get your shit together. It's just absurd. And if you are still on the Alex Jones train, if you're like an open-minded free thinker that's exploring conspiracy things or just like alternative thoughts, get off the Alex Jones train, for God's sake. If you're still buying this act, like this is either a mentally unstable, like drugged up alcoholic crazy person, or it's an act. Either way, what are you following? Why are you following this?
Ugh, I don't know. That I have no words for anything that just happened there.
Yeah. So there's that. I just had to throw that in there because it is absolutely appalling, the amount of stupidity. And I understand dude's got like 3-4 hours a day show. He's got to fill it with something. Might as well like get coked out of your mind and make an ass of yourself. But
right.
Good Lord, if you're still listening to that shit, what is wrong with you? Okay, I think all the other stuff I have can wait till the after party. Do you have one more that you want to throw in here before we kick out?
I do, and it's completely unrelated to any of this.
Transition it as smoothly as you can.
Speaking of disgusting old men, the Pope.
Yeah? Mm-hmm.
So, talk about, say what you want about the Pope, whether you like the guy, hate the guy, think he's a horrible person, think he's the actual literal second coming. This guy was dished a horrible hand because he came to power
because he's a part of the Catholic Church.
Yeah. Well, he came to power after the previous Pope had to step down from his royal popeness because of all the scandals that were going down, and he was just left with this big shiny platter of shit.
Right.
Well,
can you imagine if 2 popes resigned in a row after no popes before them have ever resigned?
Right. Ever.
To
So
my knowledge,
the newest, the latest and greatest is the Pope just came out with a statement the day after your birthday, February 6th. It says, the Pope admits that clerical abuse of nuns, including sexual slavery.
What?
Right. I know.
He admits that nuns are being enslaved?
Yeah, he says Pope Francis has admitted that clerics have sexually abused nuns, and in one case they were kept as sex slaves. He said in that case his predecessor, who we just mentioned, who stepped down and passed off the shit plate, his predecessor, Pope Benedict, was forced to shut down an entire congregation of nuns who were being abused by priests. It is thought to be the first time that Pope Francis has acknowledged the sexual abuse of nuns by the clergy. He said the church was attempting to address the problem, but it was still going on, according to him. Last November, the Catholic Church's Global Organization for Nuns denounced the culture of silence and secrecy, as they should. Somebody should come out against this. They should give up all their silent freaking promises or whatever that they made and come out against this utter bullshit. It says they denounce the culture.
You want to know what's the most terrible thing about all this? About sex slavery nuns, women who have committed themselves to celibacy, being nuns, being a part of the Catholic Church. The worst thing about this is that it's not the worst thing that we've had to listen to about the Catholic Church recently. This is a step up. This is nuns abusing adult women, but it's not as bad as what we've all accepted as normal. So it's hard to really care that much. At least these are like heterosexual nuns that are, or not nuns, priests abusing other adults. I don't care if you're gay, whatever. Say what you want. But, children, little boys versus adult women. Sadly, this is a step up for the Catholic Church. Good job. Good job, you guys.
Right. Digging yourself a little higher in the shit. He said that the priests and bishops had abused nuns, but said the church was aware of the scandal and was, quote unquote, working on it, adding that a number of clerics had been suspended. It's a path we've been on, he said. Pope Benedict, I don't know who's talking. It says Pope Benedict, oh, this is him. Pope Benedict had the courage to dissolve a female congregation, which was at a certain level because this slavery of women had entered it. Slavery, even to the point of sexual slavery on the part of clerics or the founder. Pope Francis said sexual abuse of nuns was an ongoing problem, but happened largely in certain congregations, predominantly new ones. I think it's still taking place because it's not as though the moment you become aware of something, it goes away. No, you think it's still going on because you know it's still going on. That's what you should have said.
Right.
Says the female congregation dissolved in 2005 under Pope Benedict was the community of Saint Jean, which was based in France. Alessandro Ghizotti of the Vatican Press Office told CBS News. In 2013, the community of St. Jean admitted the priests had behaved, quote unquote, in ways that went against chastity. That's a polite way of putting it.
So you're telling me they masturbated?
Nuns as sex slaves. No, they're keeping nuns as sex slaves. And in 2005, they shut down because they were keeping sex slaves. So in 2013, 8 years later, you admitted that they were behaving in ways that went against chastity. Thank you for that statement. With several women in the order, according to the French Roman Catholic newspaper La Croix. In a separate case in India last year, a bishop was arrested over allegations that he raped a nun 13 times between 2014 and 16. Bishop Franco
2 years. 14?
Yes.
How many times? 6 times?
13 times in 2 years.
Okay, 13 times in 2 years, yeah.
Bishop Franco Mulakal, who headed the diocese in Jalandhar in the northern state of Punjab, holy shit, can you make this any harder for me, has denied the accusations. In Chile, however you want to pronounce that, in Chile, reports of abused nuns carried out by priests led the Vatican to launch an investigation last year. The women who were reportedly removed from the order after highlighting the abuse. So they didn't shut the order down. They just took those nuns away.
Take the women away. It's like the Neil deGrasse Tyson thing. Make sure no women work under Neil deGrasse Tyson. Just take the women away. That'll solve the problem. Don't say the dude who was raping people, or allegedly raping people, in both cases, I assume, is a terrible person. Let's take the women away. Just keep the tantalizing thing out of reach. That'll solve the problem.
Holy shit. Just days ago, the Vatican's women's magazine, Women Church World, condemned the abuse, saying in some cases nuns were forced to abort priest children, something Catholicism forbids. Up till recently, Catholicism
full circle.
Yeah. Like I said, up till recently, and especially in like Ireland and super Catholic states, even wearing condoms was forbid because
there's still Catholics in America. One who has been on the show talking about Catholicism is against contraception. It's a normal thing.
But it's okay if you rape a nun and force them to abort the baby because we don't want to bring down.
To be fair,
priest.
Nobody's saying it's okay. They're just they're just using. Yes, the higher ups are using it as a cover up, which is awful in so many ways. But yeah, not speaking ill of the people who are against contraception, who are not raping nuns and also not aborting nuns' children who were conceived under rape. But, yeah, here we are.
This says that same magazine's editor said Pope Francis's acknowledgement of the abuse can be of some help, but warned that the church needs to act. Yes, you got to do more than just have the big shot say, this is happening. Yes, it's got to be more than that. It says last year, former nun whose name was changed. It says last year, French website reported the case of Christelle, a former nun whose name was changed to preserve anonymity.
She changed her name to a stripper name instead?
Right. It says Christelle
Light
said she said she had suffered sexual abuse at the hands of a priest of her congregation in France between 2010 and 2011. His gestures became more and more inappropriate, but he kept going until the day he raped me. He was unable to control himself. He had a split personality. Is that not just... you're just giving the guy
devil.
Credit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was unable to control himself. No, he wasn't. He was just an asshole.
He was able to control himself. This is what the victim said?
Yes, this was her quote. After she said, he kept going until the day he raped me. He was unable to control himself.
Brainwashing.
Right.
Like, well, it's not on him. It's the devil. He couldn't control himself. He had a split personality, and his other person came out and raped me. It wasn't him. Same penis. Sorry. If there's a God in heaven, he's judging that penis, no matter whose brain is controlling it. I don't know. I don't want to talk about this anymore. This is making me very sad. After all the other things, you bring this up to close out the show with.
I told you
Great.
it gets better. By that, I mean it gets worse. I told you. I warned you ahead of time.
Is that it? You have anything else to ruin my night?
That's what I have. That was my closer.
Well, we opened the show with Welcome to the End of the World. We'll close it out with, it's been nice knowing you. Hopefully it's the end of the world at this point. Good Lord. Man. Craig, any final thoughts on anything that we've covered tonight?
Ugh.
How do you feel about the state of humanity? Did you watch that George Carlin video I posted earlier?
Yes, it is so accurate.
So fitting. I got to pull that up now. Talk while I pull this up.
Just accurate beyond accurate. Yeah, the guy was a prophet of his time. He died how many years ago? Not too many years ago.
It's been a little while.
But, he was most famous, in the 90s, 80s, 90s? But he was definitely a prophet of his time. He was like freaking John the Revelator of the late 20th century.
He wasn't even like... I put him on in similar category as Alex Jones before he turned into Alex Jones, Bill Hicks. It's not even necessarily comedy. It's like funny because it's true. It's funny because it's painful truths that everybody cannot work around. You can't deny what they're saying is true. It's just sad. It's like sad comedy. But I've got it pulled up here. I believe this is the right clip. So we'll close out with this. Thank you guys for listening. Go join the Downers Club, patreon.com/The System Is Down, and go follow the show on all the things. If you have any personal comments or complaints, you can email me directly at dan@tsidpod.com. You can do all the things. Share, subscribe, like, all the things that millennials do, and we'll see you guys next time. And if you want the extended conversation that we're going to have here, where we talk about a couple more things, probably another hour or so, we'll do an extra bonus episode where we get more drunk and talk about more things. You can join the Downers Club, again, at patreon.com/The System Is Down. Craig, thanks for being here, and we'll close with Carlin.
Cool.
All right.
In case you haven't heard, the latest disaster for the rest of the universe is that the United States is going to go to Mars. Okay? Oh, yeah. We're going to go to Mars. And then, of course, we're going to colonize deep space with our microwave hot dogs and plastic vomit, fake dog shit and cinnamon dental floss and lemon-scented toilet paper and sneakers with lights in the heels. And all these other impressive things we've done down here. But let me ask you this. What are we going to tell the Intergalactic Council of Ministers the first time one of our teenage mothers throws her newborn baby into a dumpster, huh? How are we going to explain that to the space people? How are we going to let them know that our ambassador was only late for the meeting because his breakfast was cold and he had to spend half an hour punching his wife around the kitchen? Now, what are they going to think when they find out it's just a local custom that over 80 million women in the third world have had their clitorises forcibly removed in order to reduce their sexual pleasure so they won't cheat on their husbands? Can't you just sense how eager the rest of the universe is for us to show up?